Good morning, Prof. Welcome to the show.
Yeah, you're welcome to the show. How are you?
I'm good, thank you. How are you too?
Yeah, I was very pleased to note during the week that starting from lows of, low 1 degree temperatures at the beginning of the week, by the time we get into the middle of the week, we could actually add 2 degrees to it. So you went from...
and a bit of sun as well. Yeah. A bit of cold sun, right?
Yeah, exactly. And the days are getting longer. So yeah, wonderful all around.
Oh, that's good. That's good. Yes. Viewers, good morning to you all. Thank you for joining us on the show this morning. It is your favorite Sunday morning show, SonRise. Please do let your friends and family know we're live and join us. And let it be an interactive one today. So yes, please type in some comments in the comment section. Thank you very much again for joining us.
Maybe we will soon be setting up our phone lines so you can actually just call in.
You can dial, you can call in and just say hello to us, or just say, oh, I want to give a shout out to my whatever. Yeah.
No, we don't do that. We don't have a DJ here, Bibby. This is our DJ. and if you're going to call in, you better be on your game, because if you, I might have to turn off your microphone because.
If you're calling in to give us a word, maybe a word that God is just giving to you right now. You want to share with us, but yes, that would be fun. That would be fun.
Yes. Well, you know what, actually, Bibby, I think that today, I know whenever we get on this show, you are quick to ask me questions, and I've got a question for you.
Oh, wow. Really, yeah. Prof?
Yes, I've got a question for you. I was thinking about this, earlier as we're getting ready for the show, and I thought to myself, there's just something that I come across many ways in this whole, if I may use the term, Christendom. And I know that both of us, we are, relatively senior people in our professions and in what we do, and so that means that we're in places where we can often, recruit people, decide who works with us, manage teams, lead teams, and so forth. I have a question for you, Bibby. Simple, and you have to give me a yes or no answer.
Oh, wow.
As somebody who is in a leadership position in your profession, would you employ an individual simply because you know that they attend a particular church that you like and you support, and they are very spiritual? Would you employ them? Would you get them on your team because they are spiritual people, good Christians that attend church?
No, I wouldn't. No.
You wouldn't?
You've said just because they are spiritual, they attend a church that I know.
But doesn't that mean that they are good people, they have favor, they can pray?
It doesn't mean they can do the job though.
Tell me.
So, because someone, this question you asked is actually very interesting, right? And by the way, viewers, please do not think that I would not employ anyone from my church or any church or a good Christian or whatnot. But that isn't going to be something that I'll be looking at if I'm recruiting for someone to come on my team, for instance. If you don't have the experience that is required for the role, you don't have the qualifications that is required for the role, just being a Christian or being a spiritual person, I'm sorry, it's not enough for you to get the job. So I wouldn't.
You wouldn't.
So
Bibby, what I hear you saying is that spirituality is not a proxy for
exactly. Capable. Yes, exactly. Yeah.
I have another question for you. So what of favor? Right? So in church and in Christian circles, we hear people talking about favor. Oh, favor, yes. I'm not qualified and I got the job. What role does favor play in this?
I'm glad you asked that question in terms of favor, because I'm sure at some point, even in your career, you've had the experience of, I didn't think I would get that job. I didn't even think I was that qualified for the job, but I still got it. Now, when people say this, I don't miss that to be, to think about, you didn't have any sort of experience, you didn't have any transferable skills or whatnot, and you still got the job. I'm not too sure about that, So when I say I have been favored to get a job that I wasn't qualified for, I am not saying that I didn't have any of, let's say, 10 items that they've listed on the list and I still got the job. No, I haven't come across that yet. So maybe that might be some other people's experience, but that isn't my experience. So even if I were to offer a job to someone like that because of their spirituality or because of the church they attend, I would have to still be convinced that they have some transferable skills that can be applied to the role they're coming in for. Because on any role, you can train anyone. You can train people to do anything. But again, you have to come with some skills already with you.
It's interesting that you say that, because I'm pretty sure I've heard some people talk about this, and that's the impression that's been given. Now, that may not be the intention, but certainly the impression that come across has been, oh, I was not qualified for it and I got it, right? And then you kind of ask the question, if you were not qualified, why should you be doing this in the first place?
Yes.
Can you imagine somebody saying, I was not qualified and I got the job. Oh, you praise God. What job was that? Pilot.
Exactly. Would you let that person fly in?
So, oh, hang on, you're flying my plane. I don't want to get it. So, you know what? Thank you for that, because I find that interesting, right? And to this idea of favor, I know that a lot of people say, favor isn't fair and lots of those things, and maybe I think sometimes we misunderstand what favor is, and I have a different opinion. People may not agree with me, but my opinion is quite similar to yours. When I think of the Bible, right, the word favor is used in at least two distinct contexts, right? There is the favor that is a spiritual context, and then there's the favor that is a physical context. In the spiritual context, where you talk of favor, so the Bible says, for example, that Noah found favor with God, right? Yeah. When you have a spiritual context of favor that says, while we were yet sinners, Christ died for us.
Yeah.
Okay. You have not chosen me, I have chosen you, and I chose to lay down my life. In a spiritual context, it's very clear. There is no amount of anything work we could do that could even get us any closer.
Yes.
Which is why our righteousness would be as filthy rags. So in that context, work doesn't play in as well at all, which is why we said we're saved by faith, through faith, right? By grace through faith. So, but that's the one context where there is no level of qualification that can get you anywhere. Spiritual context, from death to life. But then when I think of all the other places where I've seen people talk about, or where I've seen the Bible talk about favor in a physical context, and I'm sure that there might be examples that I missed, but I struggle to see even one where you don't see some level of work, something that has gone in to position that person for the favor. Yeah. So one example, you think of you think of Esther, who the Bible says that the king favored her. But before then, Esther
had to dance.
She did
all the go through all
of that stuff, right? Put herself in that situation. So I mean, anybody, I can't think of one person that, even when they experienced favor, that there wasn't something where Joseph had his gifts and he worked and worked on that gift, right? Okay, he may not have worked on it from the beginning, but he did have that gift. So I think that the issue is where we confuse spirituality for capability. I think that's right. You do not employ a pilot, a trained driver. You do not employ an engineer just because they have faith. You don't commit homicide on a mass scale. Yeah. Right? But the engineer can be a good prayer warrior, a good prayer leader, and that's great. The issue is that the fact that they are spiritual, what you're looking for at that place is not someone that is a prayer leader. If you want somebody who can lead prayers, again, we're talking of capability, right? Because the fact that you can pray in tongues and you know the Bible inside out doesn't necessarily mean you're going to be a good prayer leader.
True.
Right?
Yeah.
So I think we need to understand capability, and I think that we should, as a people, right? Because like you said, I'm very much the same. I would not. In fact, in some cases, unfortunately, that actually plays against people of faith. Because when you've had an experience of people hyping up their own capability and say, I have faith, and can you do this? Oh yeah, I believe I can do it. I can do all things through Christ. Meanwhile, they don't know what, And then you take the person on and you find out they haven't got the clue. Next time you hear someone use that language, guess what you do?
Of course.
I'm not
That's
going
right, yeah. Absolutely. Yeah.
So anyway, so that was an interesting conversation. It went by very quickly.
Do you know, I know it's very interesting, and I think you rightly said it. We shouldn't confuse spiritual favor to the physical favor, right? So I mean, it's fair enough to say in church, for instance, you wouldn't want someone who doesn't really know the Bible, can't really pray with that well and all of that to lead prayers, right? Because you would expect that person who's going to lead prayers to be able to read the Bible, to understand what the Bible says and be able to lead prayers correctly. But you wouldn't, in a work setting, for instance, you wouldn't say because you're a student nurse and you had favor, and because of that, you got promoted to being a doctor. When you have actually not been trained as a doctor. Yeah. Do you understand? So again, when people come out and say, oh, do you know what? I was just so favored. I had no experience. I actually feel like people actually they do a lot of disservice to their own self in terms of their own experience, in terms of their own achievements. Do you understand? It's good to say, yes, God favored me, because of course you're competing with other professionals, for instance, and you were chosen for that job. Sorry, not because you didn't have experience, not because you had the favor of God and you were just spiritual. Yeah. But anyway.
But I think we can get the point. But yeah, Bibby, I know this is a great topic. We do have to
very interesting topic.
But maybe we should come back to this.
Yes, we probably will do. But viewers, don't go anywhere. When we come back, it will be our Spotlight Minute, and we have someone special for you today. See you soon.
See you.
The Egyptians relentless on our trail. The Red Sea impassable in our fall. Between a rock and a hard place, insurmountable, unnavigable, untraversable the terrain might be. Yet, the voice of He who set the world in motion I hear. In the midst of darkness He speaks light, trapped in a repetitive cycle the days have seemed. But now, I hear Him say, turn you northwards. I hear Him say, go forward, for I will make a way where there seems to be no way. Against all odds, 2022 is our year to advance. The prophetic word from heaven over our lives in this new year is advance. The Red Sea will part, the Jordan will back up, the rocks, the mountains will give way. All He requires of you is to advance in faith. In the face of daunting odds, advance. It is your time to advance. Go forward.
Hey sis, good morning. How? Wow, this is like August visitor, like as I say, the people that you get to see once in, I don't know, Prof, what's the meaning of August visitor?
An August visitor in January? I think we can just say January visitor, but yes, you know what you mean. This special guest, this very special segment, our Spotlight guest, right?
Yes.
I think that a number of people who are watching might say, oh, Teju, that's a different face, a new face. Well, we would have you know that in House on the Rock, London Lighthouse, we have a diverse group of people with very different skills and different backgrounds, and this is just one of them. And Teju, if you don't know, she's one of the hidden figures that we have at church. So busy working during the service to support the service one way or another. I think Teju, you're in the Treasury department, Treasury team, right?
Yes.
So just saying for those who don't know, and she's happily married. So, just saying. And that's for the way. So, by the way, Bibby, I'm going to hand back to you before I say
Shall we say that she's happily married to one of our guests on the show? So it's actually been like a couple of times already or something.
Yeah.
But yes, welcome this morning, sis. So great to have you on the show. Viewers, please make her feel welcome. You've joined this very special segment of the show. I mean, this is one of my favorite parts of the show, where we have people come around and come and share something with us. So this morning, as you've joined us, we'd like you to share an experience with us, just a bit to get a bit to know you more. So what would you be sharing with us this morning?
Okay, so I'll just say that when I was told about this, I felt like getting homework, so I had to think really hard about it. But what I'm going to be sharing, when I thought about everything, I'm just going to be sharing about my experience on my 40th birthday.
Oh, wow. Fantastic. See, so you thought you had an homework to go through, and then I think it's good because that means we kept you busy, right? So that's really good. Well done, sis. You said you're going to be talking to us about your 40th birthday. Wow. So, somebody's turning 40 soon. So yes, please, let's go. Let's take it on. Let's Let's find out about it. What do you want to share with us on that?
So, obviously, when coming up to that birthday, it's a landmark birthday, so to speak. So I had been thinking about it, and I had been feeling a little bit sort of reflective, so to speak, thinking about, all these years. At 40, what do you have to show for it? What have you done? Taking stock really of things that have been happening. And so I was a little bit sober, so to speak, running up to that day. And when I tell people about, how I felt on that day itself, it was a very humbling day for me, in the sense that I got shown so much love on that day that it blew my mind. And I know I'm loved, you're loved, your family, friends and everything, but when people go out of their way to show you love, it's something else. So really, I think my husband was quite surprised because I was literally in tears most of the day, not sad tears, but I was happy. I was full of joy, and so many people around me showed me so much love. The people I expected it from, my family, my friends I see mostly, and those I didn't expect it from. So I had a lot of my cousins, my uncles, aunties, friends that I hadn't spoken to in such a long time. But it almost felt like, someone had calculated the fact that I was going to be 40 that year, and they made a special effort to get in touch with me. And it blew my mind. So I had so many phone calls. And then also two things stood out in my mind. When you have conversations with people and people actually retain what you say to them. So one of my friends, I had said to her a few, I don't know, in a conversation sometime in the past, and there was a particular biscuit I liked, and I couldn't get it anywhere else but in America, and she sent them to me. And I got this and I thought, oh my goodness, it's something she thought about, and she thought, oh, well, it's not great, it wasn't expensive, it was just a thought that, that. And then another friend of mine had said sometime in the past about how it was so nice to get a phone call and every hour upon the hour of your birthday. And literally on that day, every hour she'd call, Teju, how are you? What have you done the last hour? I can't believe you're doing this. And it's just so many things like that. And I just felt so much love and appreciation, and it left such an impact on me.
Oh, wow. So what would you say made this experience to leave such an impact on you? Was it just because you were showed so much love, or was there something else?
I think I thought about it in the sense from the other person, that the thought that went into it, we tend to think, we take things for granted, but the fact that somebody thought about it and thought, how would this make me feel? And they did it for me. I think that's what impacted me the most, that they just made that effort to do it for me.
Okay. Seriously, see, I feel like, yes, you're making me, well, anyway, our viewers know this because I'm still going to refer to this. But before we go there, do you want to tell us one thing, or what would you say that for people who are watching this morning, what is that one thing that can be taken away from your experience today?
I think when I thought about it, how, especially in the age of, your phones, Facebook, everybody reminds you of people's birthdays. And I've gone through days where I've probably woken up and I've seen an alert on my phone say, oh, it's this person's birthday. And I think, oh, I'll send a message. And then I forget. I think what I take away from that is that let's make an effort for people, even if it's a message, because you don't know how that message would impact the person you're sending it to. Yeah. So it could be, that message could be the one thing that makes a difference in the person's life, if that makes sense. Right.
Yes.
It's not a great thing to just say, oh, happy birthday, thinking about you, hope you're having a nice day. Or even if it's not a birthday, just as often as people come to your mind, make an effort to get in touch with them, because you don't know how that act will affect the person. You don't know what
Wow. Thank you. Sis, honestly, I think you're so much in the spirit there. Thank you very much for sharing this with us. And I'm sure our viewers this morning have also taken this away. Let's be mindful of people. Let's just be aware that there are people out there, and that little step of love that you show to that person might be what they actually need on the day. I just had my birthday recently, and I cannot tell you how I felt on the day in terms of the number of calls, messages, and all of those things that I received. So yes, thank you so very much. Viewers, please make feel loved our sister this morning. Thank you again for joining us and for sharing with us. We hope to have you back soon on the show, okay? Don't go anywhere. We will see you in service.
I'm just
All
thinking
right.
about what you said, and thank you for sharing. Very, very helpful.
Yes. Yeah, thank you very much, sis. Don't go anywhere, viewers. When we'll be back, we'll be back after this, and then it'll be time for us to go to service. But yeah, stay with us.
The prophetic word from heaven over our lives in this new year is advance. It is your time to advance. Go forward.
Wow, welcome back, viewers. Thank you for staying with us. And for those who are just joining us, you've kind of missed a bit, so you have to go and watch the replay. But Prof, just taking off from where Teju left us, because I felt like she left us in a very, very tight place, something for a food for thought, really. And this is about, how we shouldn't take for granted the fact that we have people around us, and to check up on people when you get the nudge to pick up the phone and call the person that just came to your mind, or just send a message to that person. And now we just want to take it, let's take it beyond birthday. I know she talked about what I experienced during our 40th birthday, but let's take it beyond that. What if where the person isn't actually celebrating anything, and this is just somebody you haven't seen in a while, or someone that just comes to your mind randomly? Do we then also have to check up on them? Or what are your views on this as well? What would you say to this?
Bibby, I think this is a very important, thing. From a personal level, I've just, been thinking about how it is that I've had a particular person that I haven't been in touch with for many, many years, and we used to be close. And on the occasion I was able to get in touch with them, unfortunately, they had suffered a bereavement. And you kind of think, really, does it have to take this for us to get in touch again after all those years? And many times when we have people reach out to us, it's because something has happened. Or like you said, why does it have to wait until then? Something that came to mind as we were talking is how we're very big on, and I'm not saying there's anything wrong with this, but we're very big on being generous with things, right? So when we talk about be generous with money, be generous with things and gifts. But sometimes all that people need from us, yes, be generous with time. Sometimes all somebody needs from you is just a message saying, how are you? Or not even how are you? I'm just saying hello. That's it. I don't need anything from you. Not asking anything from you. I'm just checking so that you know what somebody is thinking of you.
Yes.
Being in having been in leadership in church for a good while now, I still remember when somebody just one day called me, and we talked, the usual, how are you, and so forth. And then how the conversation.
You're waiting for what's the message?
Waiting, yeah. And then I was like, yeah, so what's up? And she said, nothing. I just called to check up on you.
Wow.
It took me a few seconds. I said, really? I said, you don't understand. I said, as long as I've been doing this, you're the first person that's actually ever called to ask me how I'm doing. That all that I see is how people are saying, oh, you didn't check up on me. Oh, I was going through. You didn't, reach out. I'm forgetting that. You know what? I've also got things that I'm going through,
Yeah.
And that resonated with me. And I wish I could say to you that all these years later, it's any different.
It's changed.
Wow. And just to close on that note, because I know we have to go to the service presently, but many times we think of Pastor Temi, right? Oh, he's Superman. Yes. And every time we reach out to him, it's either to ask for something or say something.
Yeah.
How many times do we call? Yeah. I just say, how are you? Even if it's not how are you, I'm just checking up on you. Yeah. Just to say hi. That's it. Even if he's not, responding and telling his life story, he knows that, when I reach out to him, and I have to say, I have to work on this as well. It's not just because there's something I'm asking him on something. And the same thing for the leaders. Think of the people in your life that maybe you've been blaming for not reaching out to you and checking up on you. Well, I'm sure your phone works. Why didn't you reach out to them?
Yeah, do you know, Prof, I'd say that this is a good way to end today's show, and probably even giving our viewers homework, who is that person that you feel you should reach out to? Today is Sunday, maybe not reach out to them now just before service because you don't want to be distracted from service, but immediately after service, who's that person that you haven't reached out to? And as you said, Prof, it's not just about every other person, but also us as well. Even me as a person, I'm already thinking about a few people now that I need to check up on. I need to just say, hello, I'm thinking about you. It goes a long way. Let's gift people the benefit of our time. I know we're all busy, we're all doing different things, and life is happening. And that's the truth. Life is happening, and it's happening to all of us. But let's not neglect ourselves. But, look after ourselves and check up on ourselves. Viewers, this always a shame, really. Like, we just have to go because service is going to start in a few minutes. So anyway, thank you all so very much for joining us this morning. It has been great. We look forward to seeing you all again next week. Prof, it is time for service. I don't know if you have a few words to say before we go into service.
Well, just to say, it's the 30th of January. That month that everybody says is so long. Well, it's coming to an end tomorrow. Pastor Temi has got the final part of the word for January today. So don't miss it. Whether you're there in person or you're connecting online, let's see you there. Don't go anywhere. God bless you. Enjoy the service.
Bless you. Bye.